obesity, anxiety and depression, low thyroid, irritability, acne, very bad acne, which is called cystic acne, infertility. So when you experience those, vaginal spotting, lack of menses, painful menses, when you experience those, simply know you're already at estrogen dominance. You're either getting into problems or you're just awaiting a surgical procedure. So start changing. When you feel pain, a lot of pain during menstrual cycle, it's time for you to change. Let me take you to the causes of estrogen dominance. So how is it possible that you have high estrogen in relation to progesterone when you're supposed to have the same level of hormones going down in equal measure? Number one, environmental factors. But let me start with the HRT, hormonal replacement therapy. So when you're using hormonal contraceptives, you're feeding estrogen. Okay? When you're using the estrogen replacement therapy, you're feeding estrogen. When you're in menopause and you're consuming supplements that are rich in estrogen, you're feeding estrogen. So number one is hormonal replacement therapy, which is basically estrogen based. That is causing you problems with estrogen dominance. Number two, environmental estrogens. Where are we getting estrogen from the environment? I already mentioned to you about the microplastics and the plastics, which are made of BPA. I mentioned to you about some of these baby diapers. You know, you can start exposing yourself to these problems from a very young age. When we were growing up, we used to, parents used to use napkins, the cotton napkins. Nowadays, it's all about diapers, which are made of materials that actually destroy or destabilize your levels of hormones. We have pesticides and herbicides. We have GMO foods. We have xenoestrogens that I mentioned to you about the phytoestrogens in the diets, in the legumes and the seeds. All these mimic estrogen. We have the phthalates in your lotions, in your skin products. We have the parabens. These are things that actually mimic estrogens. When they mimic estrogens, your system senses a higher level of estrogen, and that is a problem. So that is number two. So number one is hormones or hormonal replacement therapy. Number two is the environmental estrogens. So these are what we are getting estrogen from. Number three is obesity. Fat is highly estrogenic. So fat starts to convert androgens into estrogens. Therefore, you start topping up on estrogen levels. So lose that weight. Fat is not swag. Fat is not something interesting. Drop the fat. Number four, stress. When you have high stress, problems. Number five, diets. What diets are we talking about? Wadira is saying, my gyna advised me to use Primolut N for heavy menses. That is what they do. They tell you to take hormonal contraceptives for 3 months to balance hormones. So you come with estrogen dominance and they put you on more estrogen. My gyna. My gyna. Hey, my gyna. And you want us to call you doctor? Hey. Anyway. So yes, number five is the diets. Which diets? Sugar has to be on top of the list of things that feed estrogen. Number two. So there are so many people who have suffered this fate. I'm also seeing Tina saying the same thing. So yes, sugar feeds it. Seed oils, wheat products, and the processed carbohydrates, the ultra processed foods that are less in nutrients and minerals. Remember, B vitamins are very essential in your balancing of the estrogen. So if you have vitamin B deficiency, estrogen will misbehave. Now we also have magnesium deficiency and vitamin D deficiency. And guess where vitamin D is coming from? Cholesterol. So if you are avoiding cholesterol-rich foods, you're going to have estrogen dominance. Problems. So eat that fatty meat. Now, fortified foods. Any food that you see written on, use 0% cholesterol, fat-free, sugar-free, run away from it. It is processed, it is packaged, it doesn't have nutrients and minerals. So the fortified foods that you buy, that uji that you give your daughter, those soy products that you give your daughters or your children, you're messing up their system. No wonder you started having problems with your menstrual cycle when you were a teenager. So magnesium and B vitamins are very essential in management of these conditions. And you can imagine just eating fatty meats and enjoying the sun, you already have adequate amount of vitamin D. Do you need a supplement for that? The supplement is in the butcher. The supplement is in the sun. Just go and buy fatty meat, enjoy it. Go and buy the liver, go and buy the eggs, eat them in plenty, and enjoy the sun. So that was number 5, the diets. Number 6 is a fatty liver disease. And where are we getting the fatty liver disease? Remember, the liver is the organ that metabolizes estrogen. So it breaks down estrogen to help you recover from estrogen dominance. But when you have a fatty liver, your estrogen levels will always go up because you cannot break them down. So fatty liver raises your estrogen. And where are we getting fatty liver from? Insulin resistance. We are getting it from fructose that is coming with fruits and honey and processed foods. And you're thinking fruits are healthy. You've been eating those fruits. How come you're still obese? How come you've never walked out of medication for diabetes, hypertension, and stuff? Insulin resistance is a problem here. Fatty liver is a problem in estrogen problem. So therefore, fix the liver. And the best way to fix the liver is doing zero carbohydrate diets, is fasting, and then consuming cabbage juice. Cabbage juice is a very important liver detox because it has glutathione. Glutathione is an amino acid that the liver uses to detoxify the system. So imagine that. So when I tell you to eat cruciferous vegetables, I'm telling you continue eating cruciferous vegetables because they have enzymes that break down estrogen. Well done. Number 7 is adrenal dysfunction. Again, what causes adrenal dysfunction? The 3 inflammatory foods. You can put them down for somebody who is new here. So those are the causes of estrogen dominance. So if you've been consuming, if you have hormonal contraceptives, if you've been consuming GMO foods, if you're using skin products that you don't even know the ingredients, if you're eating sugar, if you're obese, if you're eating ultra-processed foods, if you're enjoying the fruits and honey thinking that that is natural sugar, if you have a fatty liver and you've been diagnosed with fatty liver disease, if you're taking alcohol, that will actually cause you a fatty liver also. If your adrenals are dysfunctional, that is basically you feeding estrogen. You're feeding estrogen. Oh my goodness. So how do you expect to survive from this condition? It is not going to happen. Now that you know that, how do we change this? Because our essence for this is to change this. Oh, how did I even forget? One symptom of these problems is severe headaches and lack of sleep. When you're suffering from lack of sleep, every time you're struggling with sleep, estrogen dominance is part of the equation. Good. So now let's go to the diagnosis and the treatment, right? Because that is where we want to concentrate. That's where it will make sense for us. Good. So now, how do you diagnose estrogen dominance? Anytime you have issues with your reproductive health, which is not an infection, you go to the doctor. And when you're having the recurrent infection, simply know that that is a problem. That's basically insulin resistance, which will also cause you estrogen dominance. Do you recommend gallstone surgery? It depends with the level and the extent. But I've never told somebody to remove their gallbladder. There are techniques that you can do away with the crystallizing cholesterol. There are techniques that you can actually remove those stones if they are hard enough not to be taken away by fasting. So therefore, surgeries are supposed to fix symptoms, but don't ever mutilate your organs. Anyway, first things first, when you come in, I have to assess the symptoms, right? When a patient starts to talk, that's when you tap out the history. They will tell you if they have contraceptives. They will tell you if their man is that aimless ejaculator. They will tell you all these things because they are desperate. And you sit down and just listen to them, give them a listening ear. After I've assessed your history, I have to ask you, is there any medication that you're using? Are you on antibiotics? Are you on any drugs for any chronic condition? This is me trying to find a diagnosis. Where is your issue coming from? Sometimes you come in with hormonal imbalance because of the implant. But hey, but your doctor still goes ahead and writes you contraceptive. So he is not even aware you have an implant. He did not even ask, he did not even give you time. So when you just came in and told the doctor, you know, Daktari, I've been having this vaginal spotting and I have very painful cramps. Sometimes my cramps, my periods are not coming in, so and I'm not pregnant. And the doctor in his head is thinking, this is basically hormonal imbalance. He's there writing the contraceptive pills already, yet you have a contraceptive here. So he's writing another 3-month cycle of tablets. So you take the medical history, you take the medication history, you take the patient history. Once you do that, you assess the symptoms now. You look at the patient and see this is happening, and in your head, you're actually contemplating because they talked to you and they made sense. Now you're already thinking, this could be this. You start asking them directional questions about their diets, about their stress levels, about their job, about their work environment, about their marriage, about their children. You make it holistic and you make them feel easy to converse with you because now you sound like somebody who is actually interested in the information. And now they start pouring out that information. And when you tap out that information, you will never miss out on a diagnosis. Doctors in the building, you will never miss out on a diagnosis. I can assure you that. And then now after that history, now you can easily send them for lab tests, to do hormone tests, to do liver function tests, to do the thyroid function tests. Now you can understand that testing that you're sending them to do is not going to extract money from them for no good reason. No, it is going to be used to guide your differential diagnosis. It is going to help you understand which is the, you will not miss on the diagnosis. So the lab is actually going to confirm that we are in this direction. So you're not placing a bet. It's not a bet. You're actually knowing that these results are supposed to guide me to do this diagnosis and help this woman for a lifetime. But immediately you ask these people about foods, about diets, you have won the battle already. Once you have diagnosed that this one is endometriosis or this one is basically estrogen dominance, regardless of which is which, you simply know this estrogen dominance. What do? You initiate therapy, not medication. Therapy is both pharmacological and non-pharmacological. I am an advocate of non-pharmacological because it targets the cause and not the symptoms. I used to bleed a lot. It's been God's grace. I survived. I remember the Primolute. Again, I was given 3 months contraceptive to regulate my menses. After that, I got pregnant, but still problematic menses. And this is the truth. And they will put you on those things that will actually mess you more. And then they will tell you, some of the misconceptions out here are just crazy. Ati, if you're having painful menses, when you get pregnant and deliver, the pain will go. As though pregnancy does away with the estrogen. In your mind, you only record the threshold of pain, and the pain that you experience when giving birth is the highest form of pain in a woman. So that is actually recorded as highest threshold of pain in a woman. So therefore, menses, the menstrual pain stops to make sense. But with time, it starts to make sense. So it's a false myth. Do not believe that. Fix the kitchen. Now, of course, dietary changes and fixing the gut. That is number one on all these issues. Avoid the inflammatory foods. Drop the seed oils. Drop the sugar in all forms, including fruits and honey. And drop the wheat products and the processed carbohydrates. Once you drop those three, you don't need a lot of time. You don't need to keep on telling us to send you money for the surgery. Drop sugar in all forms, including fruits, sugarcane, and honey. Because through that, your liver starts to recover. Your gut starts to fix itself. Drop wheat products, the chapati, the bread, the mandazi, the cakes, the spaghetti, the processed carbohydrates. Drop them. Whether processed or non-processed, whether brown or yellow or purple, drop them. Number 3, change your cooking oil. Drop that cooking oil that is coming from the industry, that is written on vegetable oil, that is coming in a yellow container, that is written on 0% cholesterol, because you need cholesterol to get progesterone. Progesterone comes from cholesterol. It is a steroid hormone, so eat cholesterol. So drop that cooking oil. And then after that, what do? Change your cooking oil to ghee, tallow, or coconut oil, or you can even use butter. Drop the wheat totally, you don't need it. Drop the ugali and the rice, you don't need them. They are highly inflammatory. Drop milk. Drop sugar in all forms, including sugar substitutes. You don't need to sweeten foods. Test foods in their appropriate and their natural tastes. You don't need sugar. Drop it. And then now, once you've dropped those foods, now you can start. Actually, is olive oil good? Olive oil is good for top dressing, not for cooking. Do not heat it. Use it for top dressing. Good. Once you've dropped those, now you can start eating healthy food. Concentrate on animal protein. But understand that the body does not know how to store proteins, excess proteins. So therefore, to avoid you overeating proteins, eat fatty meats. Eat fatty meats. Go for the fat, because fats will help you absorb fat soluble vitamins, and vitamin D is very important in recovery from estrogen dominance. Number two, the fat will give you cholesterol, and cholesterol is going to help you to make cortisol and to make progesterone. They come from cortisol, and also vitamin D comes from cholesterol. Sorry. Again, eat all types of vegetables. Vegetables are classified into two. We have the green leafy vegetables and the cruciferous vegetables. The green leafy vegetables come with essential vitamins and minerals. The cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, carrots, cucumbers, eggplants, all those, they come with enzymes that help the liver to break down estrogen. So therefore, eat vegetables in plenty. Drop alcohol, whether wine, beer, keg, or whatever type of alcohol in whatever brand, drop it. So enjoy fiber in vegetables, enjoy saturated fats in animal fats and the cooking fats, enjoy animal proteins, make it fatty. Drop the plant-based proteins, drop alcohol, drop the inflammatory foods. You're good to go. And then start fasting. Don't eat all the time. You're not designed to eat every time. You need to give your gut time to digest, absorb, and assimilate. And then rest after cleaning up so that you can bring in new food. So do not be that glutton person, just eating all the time. You're eating, you're snacking. Do not even snack between meals, because snacking is actually eating. Remember, we want to lower estrogen levels. We want to also lower insulin levels. Snacking raises your insulin levels. Avoid smoking, whether vaping or cigarettes or shisha. Stay away from it. It is a disgrace to see a woman popping shisha, smoke coming from their ears, and them drinking alcohol, taking pictures with their thighs all over. Is so disgracing. Bring back shame. Bring back shame. Another one after diets. Hey, before I even forget something about diets, drop any soy product. Soya bean, soy milk, soy powder, gym powders, let them go. Energy drinks, soda, and all that, let them go. Then rehydrate with salt and water. Soy sauce, drop it. Anything soy, just let it go. Listen to this. Salt is very important in this process. So therefore, whether Himalayan, whether Celtic, whether sea salt, whether normal salt, take it. As you rehydrate with your water, add a pinch of salt or lick salt before drinking your water. You'll thank me later, because salt is your fertility. Salt is your blood pressure regulation. Salt helps you lower estrogen. Thank you. After you've fixed your diet, because that is where 85% of healing is, after that, simply go to the gym or do yourself a favor of doing evening walks every single day. Make sure 10,000 steps and above. That's a very long walk. Go for a morning run on Saturdays. Go for a hike. Make sure your body is in a state that it burns fat, because fat is estrogen. Once you burn the fat, estrogen is gone. Remove that contraceptive, remove that implant, drop those medication and everything, those tablets, drop the patches, and simply go and fix the kitchen and start exercising. When you exercise, don't go running on a treadmill. Go and lift the weights. Okay, go and do strength training and resistance training. You can do hits also. And yeah, salt helps with headache. It actually fixes the migraines. After that, again, exercise improves circulation, so blood flow towards the liver and therefore metabolism of estrogen. Also, exercise improves every organ function. Therefore, you cannot ignore it. And then manage your stress. Whatever thing that you cannot do, do not do it. If it gets to 10 p.m., you've eaten your supper at latest 8:30 p.m., you've taken about 2 hours, and then you head to bed at 10. Whether you have sleep or not, go to bed by 10. So therefore, alcohol is not no for you. Rope skipping is okay. So therefore, eat and then take 2 hours and go to bed. And don't go to the bed with the phone. Simply go to bed with a book or a Bible or a Quran and start reading a chapter. Those are healthy habits that will bring you sleep. So sleep is very important in stress management. Relaxation techniques like just meditation and sometimes yoga. Sometimes you can do a massage, no problem. Walking barefoot during the weekends, perfect therapy. Then, of course, the liver health. Of course, the liver health is basically through fixing the gut and fixing the diets. But there is also a supplement that is called the milk thistle. Milk thistle is actually very good for the liver. We also talked about the turmeric. We also talked about the cabbage juice. Enjoy them in plenty, but on an empty stomach, on a fasted stomach, okay? Then do away with morning breakfast. You don't need it. Push your meal out all the way to noon. And of course, the major one, start fasting. Start fasting. Yes, Dandelion too, yeah, true. Start fasting. Take about 8 meals between your meals. That will take you to about 2 meals a day. One at noon and one at 6:30, period. Then do that for about 3 days. If you already have problems, do 2 meals a day for about 4 days in a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. But Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, simply do 1 meal a day. If you can, simply move on 1 meal a day all your life. Thank me later. Now, this is a topic that I've wanted to talk about all through, and I believe that I've exhausted it clearly. And if there's anybody who is suffering from estrogen dominance, regardless of the disease, whether PCOS, whether endometriosis, whether cervical and breast and ovarian cancer, whether hormonal imbalances in quotes, aka menstrual irregularities, whether infertility, whether obesity and hypertension, you already have your answers.